Solange is finally speaking out about the real reason why she attacked Jay-Z back in 2014, and you're not gonna believe what she has to say about Beyoncé's silence. Beyoncé allegedly had a contract with Jay-Z that allowed him to cheat, and Beyoncé was the person who was present next to Jay-Z while he assaulted minors. I predict a Beyoncé and Jay-Z divorce announcement in 2025. It's officially gone too far, it's too much. The allegations are terrible, and I'm one of the biggest fans of Beyoncé. She is a legend. She is so talented, and if you know Beyoncé, she is so picky about what she posts on social media, who she associates with. I feel like the people around her, are very strategic on how her image comes off, and her being tied to Jay-Z, I just don't see it playing out like that. I just don't see her sticking by his side for the long run. Especially right now, and last night was like the premiere of the new Lion King movie, and it was Blue's moment, and it was very it was giving let's stay together through the holidays, and then let's figure out the divorce. Diddy's arrest has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the music industry, and Jay-Z and Beyoncé in particular are feeling the heat. Fans have started to peel back the layers of Jay-Z and Beyoncé's relationship, realizing that things aren't exactly what they seem. Reportedly, there are rumors that Solange is trying to get Beyoncé to divorce Jay-Z after the recent rape allegations against him. Solange wasn't even there to congratulate Blue Eyes at the Mufasa premiere, and she allegedly believes that Jay-Z is harmful to Beyoncé's brand. Isolated one-off case that he has to defend, or potentially it could be a Me Too type situation where other victims come forward. Obviously we saw that with Diddy and Cassie Venture, so the coming days and weeks are really going to be telling, and Tony Busby says he has more than 100, maybe up to 300 victims is representing. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of them also name Jay-Z and Nema. If such a high profile name like Jay-Z has come out, could more celebrity names be tied to these lawsuits? What do you think we can expect? No question, this may just be the first celebrity. Domino and Jay-Z was unmasked as celebrity A, but let's not forget, there's a celebrity B in that same lawsuit that allegedly witnessed the sexual assault, the female celebrity. And there was someone who went on CNN earlier this week and said that his sexual assault was witnessed by another celebrity as well. So I think we're gonna see more celebrity names identified very soon. Alright, and Ron, thank you so much for joining us. As you said, this is one that has entered the court of public opinion. It's nice to have your actual legal advice on this one. Jay-Z has never been faithful to Beyoncé and allegedly had affairs throughout the length of their relationship. Rihanna, Rita Ora, and even Aaliyah are just some of the people that Jay-Z hooked up with, and that's not counting all the minors he was rumored to be involved with. Jay-Z allegedly even had a child with 15-year-old Wanda. He is currently refusing to take a paternity test, even though his lawyers originally agreed to it. Who had been flown to the United States without parental supervision, or a chaperone brought to a grown man's office in a large corporate Manhattan building. Everybody knew when she flew in. I was there the day she got signed. Everyone was talking about it, and the 6 hours that she spent with him, and the 4 hours that she spent alone with him with no parental supervision. Her father didn't show up to the next day to come and collect the check. Well, and there's her life. The rumors were even beyond that, right? That Jay-Z was cheating on Beyoncé with her when she was 17 is what allowed this came out through a publicist who later then had to apologize to my friend Jonathan. Hey, you should talk to Jonathan, please, because Jonathan was there. He was right there working with Rihanna, and it was right when they started crafting her to be seen as a brand and commodity only and not a person. Let's not forget the time that Jay-Z went on national TV and confessed to the affairs. Now reports are now coming in that Jay-Z had multiple partners and his apology was entirely for show. Jay-Z loves gaslighting people, and allegedly that's what he did with Beyoncé. Solange knew all this, and this is why she attacked Jay-Z. Jay-Z was involving Beyoncé in all of his disgusting crimes. We almost lost things, and for her to say, I'm gonna talk about my pain and anger at you, what were those conversations like? Again, it didn't happen in that way. It happened, we were using out with our art, almost like a therapy session, and we started making music together, MH, and then the music she was making at that time was further along. So, Her album came out as opposed to the joint album, man, that we were working on. We still have a lot of that music, and this is what it became. There was never a point where it was like, I'm making this album. I was there, right? I was right there the entire time. And what was her reaction to your work? And what was your reaction to hers? They must have caused, I think they both, for each of be right, of course, and both very, very uncomfortable. But sitting in that, the best place in the, hurricane is like in the middle of it. Yeah, we were sitting in the eye of that hurricane. I maybe not use hurricane because so many people being infected right now, but the best place is right in the middle of the pain, right? And that's where we were. Sitting, and was uncomfortable, and a lot of conversations, and really proud of the music she made, and she was really proud of the art I released. And at the end of the day, we really had a healthy respect for one another's craft. I think she's amazing. Most people away, and like divorce rate is like 50% or something, because most people can't see themselves. The hardest thing is seeing pain on someone's face that you caused and then have to deal with yourself. Yeah, so most people don't want to do that. Yeah, you don't want to look inside yourself. 50 Cent has also talked about Jay-Z's marriage to Beyoncé and said that it's actually a business contract. Beyoncé became the biggest star in hip-hop after her marriage to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z managed to bag over 20 Grammys. In reality, this marriage goes a lot deeper than business. Beyoncé is allegedly hiding Jay-Z's crimes because she was an accomplice. There are reports that an unnamed woman was watching Jay-Z as he assaulted the minor at Diddy's freak-off party. Was this woman Beyoncé? Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyoncé M. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. No, those trophies, those trophies came rolling in, buddy. He getting grams left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at Heiser, if you look at Thicer exactly, he show up 20 now. Oh Lord, you had like 18 since you've been down. Look, he had 1. Bro, hard knock life, you're not wrong. Gosh, she like drinking, hey, thinks the cop, wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage? Absolutely been treated differently, the accolade, because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man, and the biggest ones because of the position Beyoncé. Oh wow. The new lawsuit filed against Jay-Z is one of many that is on its way, and Jay-Z knows this. Jay-Z has been trying to get rid of any connections that he had with Diddy because he knows that if more people come forward, he could also end up behind bars. Jay-Z has already threatened pretty much everyone that has come forward and sued both the lawyer and the victim. His response reads, "You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your moral world. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn." Jay-Z is staying on the offensive, going after not only the attorney who filed the lawsuit against him and Diddy, that would be Tony Busby, the attorney, but also the accuser, and he has filed a new motion this morning, which we're gonna get to in a moment, but basically he wants to level the playing field with the accuser. But first we got to start with this response that Jay-Z had to the allegation. Catch you up real quick if you hadn't heard, but a woman who had filed a lawsuit against Diddy back in October, alleging that he had raped her at a VMA after party in the year 200 when she was only 13 years old, right? Remember, this is when she allegedly was given a drink, she felt woozy, and there was Diddy, and there was a male celebrity who was unnamed at the time, and also a female celebrity. Well, that unnamed celebrity is now named, and she refiled the lawsuit on Sunday. She and her attorney Tony Busby refiled it and named Jay-Z as death, unnamed celebrity involved in the rape. Jay-Z's response is extraordinary in that. And look, we've seen all these lawsuits against Diddy, dozens of them now at this point, and frequently his response has been to deny it, but to say nothing else. Jay-Z went way more than just denying it. He did do that, but then went directly after the attorney. Part of his statement said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt from a lawyer named Tony Busby. It made me want to expose you, Tony Busby, for the fraud. You are in a very public fashion, so no, I will not give you one red penny." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. The New York Times contacted me to ask for my response to rapper Jay-Z's allegations claims that I tried to extort and blackmail him, my response is pretty straightforward: no one has made any threats. Jay-Z's assertions are bogus and laughable. Instead, our firm sent a standard demand letter seeking a mediation on behalf of a woman who alleges Jay-Z sexually assaulted her as a minor. The letter was vetted and approved by her client, whose preference was to attempt resolution short of filing a lawsuit. This approach is common. In these types of cases, what you're seeing played out now is a coordinated and desperate effort to focus the public's attention on me personally to avoid attention on the allegations being made by my clients. This effort has included harassing my family and colleagues, and even offering former clients money to sue me, which is illegal when an alleged perpetrator behaves in this manner, wildly asserting that a basic demand letter is extortion and aggressively using the media to attack the opposing lawyer, while at the same time ignoring the allegations being made by the alleged victim. It reminds me of a famous line from Shakespeare: "The lady doth protest too much." Methinks we intend to address all of these issues with the court in due course. Let me be clear, we will not be bullied or intimidated by these shenanigans, and our clients won't be silent. The reason that Beyoncé never spoke out about any of Jay-Z's crimes was because Jay-Z cleverly used her as an accomplice. He made sure that the victim saw that Beyoncé was with him during the rape. Now, if Jay-Z goes down, Beyoncé goes down with her, she has a billion-dollar empire that would come crashing down if any such report came out. Jay-Z is banking on the fact that Beyoncé will stay quiet to save herself, and so far that has proven to be true, to be clear. What does Tony Busby say about Jay-Z, the artist, the businessman? Well, the complaint begins: defendant Sean Combs, along with his longtime friend and collaborator Sean Carter, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party following the 2000 video. Music awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others were present at the after-party, but did nothing to stop the assault. Combs had been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences. He believes he is above the law. He is not his close friend, Sean. Carter has been with Combs during many such instances described herein. Both perpetrators must face justice, so that seems to suggest that Sean Carter Jay-Z was not only present or participated in this alleged essentially a crime, but for other instances, and that's really interesting. That's why I bring up this idea of, could he be hit with more lawsuits if you take these allegations as true? Now the complaint goes on to say, Combs and Carter were not simply occasional collaborators in the music industry. The two men developed a close friendship that has been well documented. From the late 1990s to the present, together, they attended countless music industry events for each other's business ventures, parties, and after parties. Indeed, the two are apparently so close that Combs stated in 2023 that Carter is the only person other than the Combs' mother who is allowed to call him by his legal first name of Sean in 2000. Near the height of their fame, power, and influence, Combs and Carter attended the 2000 Video Music Awards in New York City. Afterwards, Combs hosted an after-party for many of the most famous celebrities in the music and entertainment industries, including Carter, which is where the events alleged in this complaint occurred. I should also say that Busby also used this complaint to address an alleged harassment campaign that he claims Jay-Z started after Busby reached out about his involvement in the suit. The complaint reads: Carter was identified in Plain's original complaint as celebrity prior to the filing of this amended complaint. Carter received a letter from plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter. Upon present information and belief, Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, the one that I mentioned before, but by also orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against plaintiff's lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in attempt to silence P-Luff from naming Jay-Z herein. This effort was meant to scare P-Luff and to discredit her counsel. That effort failed indeed. Puff chose to file this amendment as a result of the egregious conduct perpetuated by Carter. Jay-Z is dangerous, and it's entirely possible that he threatened Beyoncé too. We already know that Diddy was beating and violating Cassie. Jay-Z is way worse than Diddy, and he even pleaded guilty to stabbing his friend back in 1999. It's possible that Jay-Z was using the threat of violence to keep Beyoncé quiet, and as we've already seen in the elevator video, Beyoncé is so used to physical violence that she doesn't even react now. She got song credits for writing for Al Green, Take Me Through Them, not wanting to let her in the club. She showed up to a place. Some of the people in there was loyal to some of the people she was speaking out about. They wouldn't let her in, and she wasn't going for that. She starts sending it up. She start bugging up on the guys. They had to call the police on old girl, oh bro, Jaguar, right? Get wild, bro. And if something happened to her, I just want to tell Jag. Alright, be careful. She just went on Piers Morgan Beyoncé, and Jay-Z sent Piers Morgan a cease and desist made. Piers Morgan publicly apologized today. It's about to get dangerous for a lot of people, so if you out here doing what you doing, cause y'all not me, so you better be on your P's and Q's. It's about to get ugly. This is when people start to turn up dead right now, so keep that in mind. Despite what might have happened, it's hard to ignore the fact that Beyoncé did stay silent and let Jay-Z continue his abuse. The total number of victims that Beyoncé helped Jay-Z abuse are in the thousands, and more than 300 of these have already come forward. Just a few months ago, Jaguar Wright went on Piers Morgan and told everyone how horrible Jay-Z actually was, but no one believed her now. Everything she said is turning out to be true. How many victims potentially do you think there could be? Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things. What do you think happened with Kim keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane unconscious? There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about. PE, listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyoncé are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that. I know, I'm just being honest with you. You're perfectly entitled to your views. Obviously, Kim Porter, yes, a new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that? I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen and everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities. It all leads back to Diddy, and everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do. Jaguar, I gotta leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for caring. I do care. Thank you very much. There are reports that Beyoncé helped facilitate Jay-Z and Diddy. She used her connections to bring young minors and artists under their control, and often stood by and watched as the abuse was happening. There are even reports that lawsuits against her are about to be filed. And one of the people at risk, often mentioned online, was Jay-Z, real name Sean Carter, who came up in the New York rap scene alongside Sean Combs, and just a few days ago, Texas attorney Tony Busby made it official. He filed an amended complaint on behalf of a Jane Doe, who says that she was raped by Combs and Carter when she was just 13 years old, that this happened at a VM's after party back in 2000. Now, the original complaint mentions Celebrity A and Celebrity B, a man and woman, as being present for, and even Celebrity A participating in the alleged assault. Well, now Celebrity A has been identified as Jay-Z, who has adamantly denied anything like that ever happening. He is very clear on that. In fact, he has accused Tony Busby of extortion, saying that Busby's attempts to get celebrities to pay out huge sums of money in exchange for not being named in civil lawsuits with what he claims are false allegations amounts to blackmail. In fact, Jay-Z is believed to be the John Doe who just recently filed a lawsuit against Tony Busby anonymously claiming extortion and intentional affliction of emotional distress. Diddy's arrest has a lot of other criminals worried, and Jay-Z and Beyoncé are just some of them. The true list of everyone involved with Diddy is going to shake Hollywood to its very core. With reports of tapes, testimonies, and legal battles looming, it's clear that this case could expose a dark web of power, privilege, and abuse that spans decades. 8 tapes are already in FBI custody, and they show Diddy and his accomplices involved sexually with minors. There are a lot of people in Hollywood we're probably worried about, which Diddy parties they were at, and what was going on. That's not to say that they were necessarily even involved in any of the things that are alleged by the U.S. Attorney's Office, but if you're at that party and it turns out that that's when he set up one of these freak-off sex parties, or that it was going on in another room and you didn't know about it, there's a good chance that you're going to be called by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And certainly if you were involved, you would get a call because they're going to want to know everything you want to know, and may even want you to be a witness. I just think, we're just starting to scratch the surface of what this case, this case is going to touch and involve, and the feds have said that this remains an open investigation. There could be more charges for Diddy. There could be more charges for other people involved. And usually the way this works is once they find out other people are involved or were witnesses, they bring them in and they sort of lean on them, and it's sort of like, you're gonna cooperate with us, or there's a possibility that you could face charges. So this is gonna be a slow developing case here, because we're just getting started, and I don't see how this trial begins anytime before next year. The tapes that Jay-Z and Diddy recorded are going to prove instrumental in sending them both to jail. According to Gene Deal, Diddy recorded these tapes to have leverage against anyone who might try to expose him. Diddy knew that he couldn't trust Jay-Z or Beyoncé, so he had tapes that implicated them too. Now that these tapes are in police custody, Beyoncé, Diddy, and Jay-Z are all worried about how they're going to get away, and those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitation imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women. How many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage? 2 males, and of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs? This is gonna be all speculation. I just want to preface it by, he wouldn't know if they were right. Appear to let me rephrase it based on yes, understand out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or into the influence? All of them out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been? Victimizing, I think, all to be honest, all were victims, were perpetrating. Victims, they were victimized, meaning this was happening to them and they were inebriated, right? Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in, what they was doing. And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors? 2 to 3, possibly 3. Tony Busby, the lawyer bringing the case against Diddy and Jay-Z, has already said that he's going to name other celebrities too. Is one of these celebrities Beyoncé? If yes, then was she really celebrity B, who was seen standing next to Jay-Z at multiple freak-off parties? All these victims have verified police reports and medical records tying them to Diddy and Jay-Z. Who knows who else will be dragged down with them? We intend to name people in these lawsuits. We're not gonna do it in interviews. We're not gonna do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're gonna start filing lawsuits. And may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names, and you might imagine in situations like this that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public, and when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that, so we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and I expect that there will be some people named in this law and these lawsuits that will raise some eyebrows. Another minor told allegedly by Shan comes that he would make him a star, but he needed a visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged. and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual minor was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up by allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV and then literally woke up the next day, not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus where she was then. She then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner allegedly with Shan Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but she drank at the table, apparently, at least, according to her, was laced with something she blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed again, allegedly with Mr. Holmes, in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were TBN and sore. What are your thoughts on Solange finally speaking out and the allegations surrounding Hollywood's biggest names? Do you think more names will be exposed, or is this just the tip of the iceberg?